Honestly, Black Americans, it is high time we normalize this habit of let's not allow some white people to come into our space and deceive us. I said it with my full chest because let it make sense to me that you are trying to enter into the market space as a white person, and then on the other hand, you are using the N word like you. For me, I don't know why a lot of people were in the comment section, or some people were like saying that what he said was literally not wrong. But I'm gonna go ahead and play out this video for you so that you guys can watch and let me know your honest opinion if this is not wrong. But anyways, educational purpose is only, and if this is the first time you're tuning in, my name is Sonia. Thank you so much for joining, and subscribe, like, comment, and share. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I really do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, let's dive right into
this is Jack Harlow, and I was sent some videos of Jack Harlow saying the following.
I'm saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into.
I got black
music.
Yeah.
Deeper into.
Oh, there are people who are actually surprised by this, and I'm like, why? You all continue to give white rappers passes, put them on pedestals, allow them to say the N-word, and just claim black culture as their own artistically. And then when they say something like this, you act surprised. No, I blame you all. I blame you all for not checking them the first time. Because when you don't check somebody the first time, they're going to see if they can get away with it multiple times. And before somebody stumbles into my comment section, I listened to all of this before I made this video, not just the 9 seconds of him saying that he got blacker. I listened to all of this with these 3 white guys sitting around talking about getting deeper into black music. Yeah. So, I don't have anything else for you except the following. What you all cooking for dinner tonight? Or what are y'all having? I need some ideas. It's my book reading day. And now I need some ideas about what I'm going to have for dinner. I have the house to myself. So y'all let me know what you all having for dinner. Peace. Have the day you deserve.
Rappers like Jack Harlow, Post Malone, and Lil Dicky is why I will never give another white rapper another chance again. We were really spoiled with Mac Miller and to some degree Eminem, and I say to some degree Eminem because he does have a history of black women, and because all of the terrible white rappers that have transpired because of Eminem's rap god. But what Jack Harlow's doing here is clear rage bait and it's desperation. The fact that he named the album Monica so you could think in your head, oh, my nigga, and he's trying to do his little white version, and then he has a headline like, I got blacker, and this is the most Jack Harlow has been talked about in years. You know for a fact that his PR was like, okay, you need to rage bait black people to get yourself talking and get that buzz again. And then when we're done talking about Jack Harlow and saying we are finished with him, he is free and more than welcome to go to his white audience and do what he always wanted, pertain to white people, to pertain to his audience. He never wanted to fully stay in hip-hop this whole time. They see this as a little stage in their life. They see this as a little tiny error. And you can tell just by how he's judging R&B. Oh, I had to get a little bit blacker for this album. It's like they're putting on a performance for this because they don't live this culture. They aren't this culture. So y'all can go and listen to Jack Harlow and these other white rappers if you want. But me personally, they have played in our face time and time again to the point that I'm done. I'm not going to listen or even entertain because all they do is put on a character or they put on a front. But they aren't this culture. They don't bleed this culture and they will never be this.
Harlow just dropped a neo-soul R&B album. And when he did a podcast and they asked him why he didn't retreat to country or rock like other white rappers, he said, I got blacker.
White rappers are afforded more freedom to change their genre. True or false? Piggyback off what John's saying. John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into.
I got black
music. Yeah. Deeper into blackness. So
that one sentence opened up a conversation that is 70 years old. Jack Harlow recorded at Electric Lady Studios, the same studio where D'Angelo made Voodoo. He hired Robert Glasper. He cited Erykah Badu as his influence. By all accounts, the love is real. But is that enough? Sincerity has never been the issue. The issue is the system behind the artist. Let's take a look back at 1952. Big Mama Thornton records Hound Dog, raw, powerful, undeniable. 4 years later, Elvis Presley covers it and sells millions. Thornton saw almost none of that money. Pat Boone made a career out of taking Little Richard and Fats Domino records, stripping out the edge, and handing them to white radio audiences who were actively steered away from the originals. The industry even had a name for black music back then. They called them race records. That's not a metaphor, that was the actual marketing category. Moved to the 60s and 70s, Berry Gordy built Motown, specifically as a correction to this. A black-owned label to get black artists paid and heard on their own terms. It worked, but even then, publishing rights, distribution deals, and radio payola meant money still found ways to flow away from the artists who created the music. Blue Eye Soul emerged. White artists who genuinely love black music, but also got the promotional budgets, the mainstream radio spins, and magazine covers that their black counterparts were denied. Then hip-hop, born in the Bronx in the 70s. By the 2000s, it's the best-selling genre on the planet, and white artists have started arriving. Eminem, legitimate, credentialed, backed by Dr. Dre, but still, somehow, the most commercially successful rapper of all time. Vanilla Ice fabricated his entire background and lifted a baseline without credit. Iggy Azalea got nominated for Grammy Awards over black female rappers who have been doing the work for years.
Tire marks, tire marks. Finish line with fire marks. When the relay starts to move on the train.
And Post Malone and MGK, they used hip-hop as a launching pad and then pivoted to country and pop rock the moment it was convenient. Hip-hop gave them the platform, then they left. So back to Jack Harlow. The critique isn't really about him as a person, it's structural. Black male R&B artists have been making this music for decades, and they don't get the same press runs, the same playlist placements, the same Grammy consideration, or you guys making posts about them. When a white artist steps into that lane, the industry often opens doors it kept shut. That's not about talent. That's about how this business has always been wired. So if you ask me my thoughts on Jack Harlow becoming a neo-soul artist, it's that right there. Happy Sunday.
So I regret to inform y'all that when I made the last video, I didn't even realize that he had just put an album out called Monica with the Music Soul Child neo soul cap that they hand out to black people when they turn 28. Mind you, he turned 28 today. So who issued him this cap? Because this is for black people when they turn 28 and turn into Music Soul Child. Who turned him into music? Who is behind it? Who is letting him know that these things? He's gotten too infiltrated. And then Monica? Yo, what? Bro, this shit say R&B and soul. There's not a single... Well, I didn't listen to the whole album. I don't believe there's a single rap song on there. Unfortunately, I did have to give him a stream or two just to understand what was going on over there. He's going full Music Soul Child. Like, we have to... Somebody's gonna have to get him in... We're gonna have to...
Didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into...
I got black music. Yeah.
Deeper in...
Jack Harlow, man. So Jack Harlow dropped an album called Monica, and it's under the R&B soul category. So that's what they're discussing in this interview clip, how he didn't do the Post Malone and switch over to country or rock music, and he decided to make an R&B album, which is a bit more niche in the black music genre space, right? And he's like, yeah, I didn't do what they did. I actually got blacker. And it's a room with 3 white men in it, and you're talking about how you got blacker, Jack. We have to nip this in the bud. That is very tone deaf. Like, come on, shut up, man. That's a that's a crazy statement to make, right? And it's not what he was trying to get across, but it is very tone deaf, bro. Like, Jesus, man. Anyways, the album itself, like I listened to it, it's the production is good. The songs aren't horrible. Like they're not the worst things I've ever heard. But I feel like I won't see myself going back to this album, to be honest with you. But at least he's not doing what Post Malone did. You feel me? I respect people like Mac Miller. I respect people like Eminem. I respect people like Alchemist. White people who come into this space and there's never really any real controversy with them and their love for hip hop, and they outwardly show that, and they're themselves. They're not trying to pretend or behave like they're black or anything like that. They're just themselves within the culture, and when they speak, you can hear the love and admiration that they do have for the culture. They just make their music. I'm not with all that inviting people to the cookout, but there's certain people, when they open their mouths, they say things and it makes you look at them like, this is why I don't care about inviting people to the cookout and shit. You feel me? Because you put your foot in your own mouth when you say things. You feel me? Like you, all that cosplaying black culture, but you didn't know who Brandy was. You feel me? And then now you got a black girlfriend and you heard R&B for the first time, and it makes you want to make your version of a neo soul album. That makes me side eye you, Jack. And I think Jack Harlow's a pretty funny dude, and I think that comment was made in jest. But you got to know how things are going to be received when you say them, especially when it's nothing but white people in the room, and one of those white people are talking about how they got blacker. How do you guys feel about this? Let me know in the comments. Till next time, I'm out of here. Make sure you join the Discord. We talk about music, sports, everything in between. If you have any issue, join and DM me and let me know. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I have started posting IG Reels on there. Till next time, I'm out of here.
Harlow saying that he got blacker after making his dogshit R&B album just proves everything I've been saying about white rappers this entire time. These people exist to commodify our culture and turn it from something that's inherently subversive and radical to something that's sterile and marketable. I recently made a video comparing bad white rappers to AI-generated art in the sense that they both exist to remove the human experience from art. Just as AI art is merely an imitation of human art, bad white rappers are merely an imitation of black artists. As a result, their products are aesthetically black without being inspired by any of the real-world experiences or perspectives that make actual black art black. UC Berkeley professor and overall terrible guy John Searle wrote in 1980 about a concept I think is really helpful to demonstrate my point here, the Chinese room argument. Imagine that I, or anyone else who doesn't speak Chinese, is in a room, and in that room is a book that reads something like this, the left side being labeled inputs and the right side being labeled outputs. Now imagine that someone outside of the room is slipping pieces of paper under the door that have these input phrases written on them, and when I receive that paper, I write the corresponding output phrase and slide it back under the door. And now, imagine that these inputs are actually questions written in Chinese, and the outputs are the appropriate responses to those questions. Would you say that because I'm able to give appropriate and accurate responses to questions in Chinese, I now speak Chinese? Obviously not. Now, the Chinese room argument has its issues, but it's useful for the purposes of this video. In the same way that being able to write Chinese characters doesn't mean that you actually speak Chinese, being able to superficially replicate the stylings of black artists like D'Angelo and Gucci Mane doesn't make you a black artist, and it doesn't make your music black. And the Chinese room argument isn't even fully applicable here because the whole idea of the hypothetical is that the person in the room is providing responses that would be identical to that of an actual Chinese speaker. But Jack Harlow and Ian don't sound like black artists. They sound like annoying wiggers imitating black artists. They don't have any of the emotional or lyrical depth of the artists that they're copying because they're imitating their sounds without having any of the perspectives that guide them. This makes their music bland, sanitized, and perfect for white label execs to capitalize off of. Bad white rappers provide label execs the perfect opportunity to profit off of black expression without engaging with the black.
Jack Harlow just released his new album. It's entitled FBAC, Foundational Black American Cracker. In this album, he explores everything from Jim Crow to the war on drugs. The first single off the album is entitled The Blacker the Berry, the Sweeter the Wigger, in which he entails what it's like to be an acceptable white inside the black community. Really insightful. One of my favorite tracks on the album, not invited to the cookout, but I can still pull up, is really a reflective piece as he reflects on his time as a white artist in black genres. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but Jack Harlow's also been growing out his hair. So part of the rollout for this album is he's going to actually be collaborating with Shea Moisture for a very special, like, limited edition drop. If you purchase his album off of his website, you'll actually get a limited edition Afro pick. I think my favorite part so far are the collaborations. We got Pastor Troy, CeeLo Green and the entire Dungeon family, Dionne Warwick, India Arie. Then, of course, we got the last song on the album, which is a collaboration with Paul Wall, which is called
All the backlash that Jack Harlow is getting for dropping My Nigga, the album, I bet he could only think to himself, a transition to country music wouldn't have been this bad. Like, he could have called it Kentucky Derby or something. But you know what really gets me? What do they mean? And I'm talking to those three white guys and, Jack Harlow on that podcast when they said the music is blacker. Like, what does that mean exactly? Like, he has multiple bars or something on the album saying, I grew up on watermelon chicken and grape Kool-Aid. Or, I grew up on Section 8, just like you guys. Or better yet, my mama used to always sell the food stamps, but the house always had...
The cookout have been suspended indefinitely. Jack Harlow recently said,
I got blacker. Black music. I got blacker.
The first comment says, if everybody wants to be black, who gonna be the white people? Because Jack Harlow went down to the beauty supply store and picked up a 1996 Neo, had the 2005 B2K glasses, and dropped an album called Monica. Now, some people are saying in the clip I just played, he was admiring black culture and art, and that he just wanted to make an R&B album. But I do understand why people are skeptical, though, and are talking about cultural appropriation, because it does seem like there are white artists who go through a blackness phase. You remember Black Ariana Grande?
I'm like, bitch, that's my cookie, that's my juice, okay? Carry on. Thank you, next.
Miley Cyrus notoriously had a black phase, and then she went right on back to country. So the reason people are saying it's a black phase is because they'll come out, do hip hop, and then they'll drop that little black scent that they have and go back to whatever genre of music they were doing before, country, pop, whatever. So it can definitely feel like they were just trying on or auditioning blackness, if you will. But ultimately, as an artist, I do think it's more than okay to experiment with genres, but saying my music got blacker, of course, everyone's going to come online to get their jokes off. But yeah, somebody will have to tell me if this album is good. I'm not gonna hold you. I really do enjoy neo soul music. And that reminds me, whoever called Jack Harlow Neo Snowchild, you're hilarious. You need a comedy special, and you need one now. So let me know when y'all start playing the album. I might give it a little stream. I'm curious as to whether the music is good or not. So I think by that metric, I guess the promo.
Harlow dropped a neo soul album, and you coons are shucking and jiving, comparing him to fucking Dwale! Comparing him to D'Angelo! What are we talking about? The problem with Jack Harlow has never been the fact that he's actually a bad artist. It's been the fact that he's average but gets gassed up because he's a white boy in black spaces. And we all know how that shit go. Niggas be very quick to hand out a cookout invite. You know what I'm saying? And like, he doesn't have like the voice or the talent or the pen to warrant the amount of fame and success that he's gotten in rap, let alone R&B. And for you motherfuckers that are out here comparing him to greats like D'Angelo, Common, Dwale, you know what I'm saying? Niggas that are at the pinnacle of neo soul, at the pinnacle of rap. It's just, it blows my mind, bro. It's genuinely mind-boggling. And the fact that this nigga's talking about, oh, I got blacker by diving into R&B. I respect the fact that he didn't leave the culture when it benefited him and turned to some country pop shit. But it's so disrespectful, and it just shows that he really not tapped in with the culture like he thinks that he is, bro. Talking about, I got blacker. I understand what you're trying to say, but it's just like, if you were really tapped in, you wouldn't say no goofy ass shit like that. And Monica is not a bad album by any means. It's very average and mediocre, and I could see it definitely getting some like commercial plays or like some Netflix reality TV show plays, you know what I'm saying? But the issue is, again, it's very average and mediocre, just like his other shit. And it's just like warmed up nachos, bro. And even from like the standpoint of like white artists in black spaces, like a Mac Miller, like a Bobby Caldwell, like Eminem even. There's white artists out there that have that can and do more for the culture than Jack Harlow does, because it's fucking average, but he gets gassed up.
Specifically, the spicy cracker-hoe Jack Harlow, he has a new album out called Monica, and it came out on Friday, and it pretty much has the entire internet responding like this.
The person whose name is on the my nigga, yeah?
My nigga? What?
Gina. Monica, as in the name on the building. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that being said, you just have a marvelous day, yeah?
We need to learn how to pronounce that correct.
Jack Harlow. This is what you gonna name your album. My nigga. Yeah. Ain't nobody no fool. You gonna name it Monica and try to think ain't nobody gonna figure that out. my nigga, yeah. Ain't nobody stupid. Ain't nobody stupid. You tried it though, but ain't nobody stupid.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Lady Couture, the voice of all media diva, and I'm just here to report the damn news. Well, it looks like there are some dummies. Because I've seen a majority of people in my community sit here and support that stuff. I made that video on February 13th. I made that video putting that out there, letting people know this is what this culture vulture piece of shit was doing. Jack Harlow. Yeah, I said it. This is what I don't understand. This is what I do not understand. The same people that's sitting up here and will welcome the oppressor who appropriates our culture, disrespects our culture, will sit here and welcome them with open arms, invites to the cookout. But Jay-Z, Beyonce, this black artist, that black artist are the devil. But will sit up here and welcome these children of the chalk, racist white folks into our community with no problem. Will sit here and tear down our own there are some black celebrities who give back to the community, who have given back and are still giving back. But you got this piece of shit who is basically appropriating. And it's like, nobody caught that? My nigga. And now he's talking about, I feel blacker. See, this is why I respect other white artists like John B. He never appropriated. He never stepped out of line. Tina Marie. Never appropriated. Never stepped out of line. And if I'm missing any white person who didn't culture appropriate, please let me know. But I don't understand that. We can tear down our own, but welcome this shit into our community? Boy, I tell you, a lot of y'all was in one classroom all damn day and ate lunch before everybody else. I just don't understand this. I do not understand this. It is disgusting. It is a disgrace. And it's like, no, he's naming it. It's Monica. No. He didn't name it after the female or the female singer Monica. It is Monica. Yeah. That was cold. That was cold. Like I said, I just don't get it. It's a lot of people that's stuck on the plantation that have that in-house Negro syndrome that want to sit here and just say, well, yes, ma'am. Yeah, boss, I'ma make sure you get on up in there. I don't get it. Y'all more outraged with Beyonce and calling her a witch, but you got this mofo up here basically calling us the N-word in his damn, and I don't, Jay-Z and Beyonce and other black artists are showing you how to be successful, but you want to tear them down. But this motherfucker is sitting up here appropriating our culture, being a culture vulture, but it's like, oh, come on in. Whoo, boy, I tell you, we're never going to get ahead at all. Anyway.
Jack Harlow is trending everywhere right now, and it's not for his album Monica, it's for this clip.
John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
black music. Yeah.
Deeper into blackness. Yeah. So was that conscious? Was that a little twist on the typical move that white rappers make, which is to retreat back into traditionally white sounds?
It certainly made what I already wanted to do even more appealing. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because you like pushing that boundary, that line?
I think I love black music. I love the sound of black music.
Who among us?
Yeah, I love the sound of black music.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm hyper aware of the politics of today, that safer landing spot that a lot of my white contemporaries have found. And of course, it appealed to me to do something that I felt like at a time when there's plenty of people expecting me to take some of the routes y'all are taking.
Yep.
To take the route that not only might not be expected, but is also the one I genuinely want to take. So all the stars aligned in that way for me, to be honest. I'm not going to pretend like what you're talking about. I was like, I guess you're right. I knew that there were multiple things appealing about this route, but I also came to the decision, I'm proud to say, off of what feels good in my ear. I love R&B music. I love the sound of soft, intimate, melodic music. So
yeah,
I want to be understood. I want to write melodies that invite people to sing along.
If I'm being honest, off first listen, I was like, respect for Jack Harlow for saying that, because I do appreciate that he appreciates black music in a way that seems authentic, unlike Post Malone or Machine Gun Kelly, who used it to get clout and then seemingly doesn't like to acknowledge it anymore and just used it to elevate their careers. I'm not into that. We like to call that vultures. And Jack Harlow never gave me vulture vibes. Him, JoJo, Zara Larson, G-Eazy even, they never gave me vulture vibes. They gave me appreciating the culture. Renee Rapp too. However, I looked online, I'm seeing tweets like Must Champion said, 3 white men in a room talking about blackness, they just play in our faces daily, man. And when I looked at that tweet and I saw like several other tweets, there's like he's getting lit up on X, I then realized, he probably could have phrased it better. I got his sentiment. His sentiment was, I'm not new to this, I'm true to this, and I'm not just doing this for a phase or a gimmick. I truly like black music. However, he probably should have said this on a black platform, and he probably shouldn't have said, I'm getting blacker. He probably should have said, I'm diving more into hip hop and R&B and neo soul music. Like, that's how he should have worded it, not I'm getting blacker. You don't want that to be the takeaway. Not everyone has great PR training. Now, as far as the album goes, he did do a neo soul vibe, and I like that. That's like one of my wife's favorite genres. I get into neo soul too. I'm not so deep into it. I like R&B, that's my favorite genre, but neo soul, there's only a few artists, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu. Those are only a few people who I really get into. But this album was cool. I liked it. I liked the song Monica. I liked All of My Friends, Trading Places. It's gonna take me a few listens before I have a couple of my standout favorites. But sound off, what do you guys feel about these comments from Jack Harlow? Were you offended by it, or were you understanding what he was really meaning based off his career? Because he has been a solid ally, I feel like, in the industry, but that could be my take from it.
Anyways, guys, welcome back, and I hope you guys have seen all of that video. And see, I just need to be airing out my mind at this point. I feel like some of these white people just want to be in black spaces, or just want to identify themselves as black because they know the power of black people. I'm sorry if I'm ruffling on anyone's shoulder. If you think what I'm saying is absolutely not right, please correct me in the comment section. And let me put this out here as a point. I am a fan of unity, right? I am not doing this to divide any race from each other. But due to what I have literally seen and studied, whenever it comes to this white race, I have told myself that honestly, 99% of them will just want to come into black spaces because they know the power that belongs to black people. Remember, if you are a music artist, black community supports you, honestly, you are good to go. That's just the honest truth. So for this guy to want to appreciate black people, because I also saw some black creators did videos of, oh, what he said was actually not wrong. He was actually selling the black community market, blah, blah, blah. I listened to all of that. But for him to literally do a video, sorry, not a video, for him to actually went on that podcast and he is trying to make black people high, and then in the midst of that, there is a mixture of an N-word, is a no-no for me. It is better you identify with your white race. Yes, and this is just to put it out there. No matter how you try to identify with black race, you can never be black. Let that be said. So if you're doing this because you want black community to patronize you. You understand the level when black community said, we are no longer putting our dollar into this thing. We are now keeping our dollars to ourselves. We are now taking decision on ourselves. In fact, a lot of white folks that are venturing into black people's spaces are making it look like, I'm not saying all of them, there are some genuine ones, right? But a lot of them are making it look like they really, really do idolize white people. It's because they are scared of black people boycotting them. They are scared of black Americans saying enough is enough. We are no longer doing your music. We are no longer doing your thing. And maybe I'm over exaggerating, or maybe I'm overreacting. I don't know. You can go on TikTok and search for his video and watch the full interview that he did. Do you get? So as far as I'm concerned, with this level that we are right now, where we literally know that no matter how hard we try to blend into the white spaces, we cannot blend into the white spaces. And no matter how hard the white community try, they cannot blend into the black spaces. There is no need of me pretending that I'm comfortable with what he did. Gone are those days when Africans will literally idolize white people. I've grown up till that point to know and study American history that there is nothing literally that these people, these white people, will literally come for, if not when they want to benefit. I'm sorry if I'm provoking someone, okay? But there's nothing that is not out of benefit. If it's not out of benefit, they are not doing it. If it's not out of benefit, they are not hailing us. If it's not out of benefit, they're not going to say, oh, this is it. There are a lot of them that when black people are protesting, they sit in their houses. But now when they want black people to come out and patronize their business or do one or two things for them, they will now start hailing black people. Oh, black Americans are the only people that can do this. Black Americans are the only people that can change the nation. Black Americans are the only... I'm not buying your music. I'm not buying your rap. I'm not buying your anything. I'm going to be investing my dollar to the black market, and it's as simple as ABCD. I don't know, you guys, let me know what you think. And please, for disclaimers, this is just my own point of view, and this is for educational purposes only. You're free to let me know what you think in the comment section, and credits belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I really do appreciate you guys, and I literally do not take you guys for granted. Thank you so much for staying stick with me. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.